Yo guys, I've got something I need to share with you. Now, this isn't going to be easy to digest, so make sure you're sitting before I say this. Here it comes. Recently, I've caught the game dev bug. I don't know where it came from, but I just can't stop prototyping. I started an RTS game, a monster fighting game, a physics-based experimental game. Okay, 2 physics-based experimental games, but yeah, we won't talk about this one for now. I'm still researching the best practices for physics-based functions, alright? But there was also some other prototypes as well. But today, I'm not here to talk about any of those games. Oh no. Today, I'm here to talk about a fun experience that almost didn't happen. Let me explain. Let's start at the beginning. This was your average Friday. I woke up, I ate breakfast, I did some training over at Capsule Corp, just my usual morning routine. Then I headed into the office and checked Twitter, and that is when I see my timeline glowing with Ludum 41 tweets. Now, I've known for months that Ludum is going to be on Friday 420, and I also told myself that I wasn't going to participate. My sleep is actually really bad, and I've been trying to make that a priority. But then a plot twist. Out of curiosity, I wanted to know what this year's theme was, and when I read mixed to incompatible genres, it was so difficult to come up with any ideas. I was happy that I was not participating. But then, yet another plot twist. I seen that Ludum released a genre mixer generator to help inspire entry ideas. I couldn't help but to see what type of games it was suggesting that participants make. It first generated open world plus rhythm. I hate rhythm games. Rapper the Rapper gets a pass though. That game is wacky and fun. But then, on my second try, it suggested fighting plus tower defense. Whoa. That was such an interesting suggestion. So interesting in fact that I could not get how this game might play out of my mind. Right then and there, I moved everything around on my calendar to work on this jam idea. Guys, I began working on my Ludum 41 submission. Now, here was the idea that I was obsessing over. First of all, this jam pretty much requires you to make 2 games. So, on the tower defense side of things, I was thinking, your basic tower placing, enemies follow along some trail, you prevent enemies from reaching your main base, just classic tower defense features. And as for the fighting side of things, I was thinking a simple classic fighting game, like the original Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, games like these. Looking at these just take me back. Guys, just give me a second to relish in these sweet 16-bit graphics. Okay, anywho, now how will they merge together, you're wondering? Well, here's the idea that got me hyper. I was thinking that the core of the game will be around 2 main towers, and the player wants to destroy their respective enemy's tower, just as in your common tower defense game. And this will be done by purchasing units that will travel from your main tower to the enemy's main tower. Now, if any of your units encounter any other enemy units in the process, you will have to engage in a Street Fighter-esque fighting match in order to declare a possible winner. And to keep the pace of the game quick and rapid, the fighting matches are simple one-hit kills. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and the last feature needs explaining real quick before we move on. How is it a tower defense game without being able to place functional defensive units? Well, my answer to that is that you can place defensive units. Unlike the traditional method of defensive units that shoot projectiles, for example, in our game, we'll place defensive towers that will store fighting units who attack if enemies get close enough. We'll have a 1, 3, and 5 unit capacity tower, and the main base will have a capacity of holding 10 units. So, if an enemy wants to overthrow the main base, they'll have to go through the entire base's stored units, kind of like the old school Mortal Kombat arcade mode. And towers work exactly the same. And that's it. That's the idea. Now, how did I do in 48 hours? Well, I decided to stream the entire jam. Jabrils CPU is my Twitch username. Follow me on Twitch for live streams. We have a lot of fun, I promise. But back to the episode. On day 1, I started with getting some placeholder assets. Little did I know they're actually permanent assets because who am I kidding? But once that was all set, I began to work a little on the UI so that I had some way to control and interact with the game. And I want to give credit where credit is due. Mr. Kitten Slayer in the Twitch chat suggested this shabby looking early 2000 stainless steel panel with screws to use for the UI. Such a great looking idea. So much respect to you, man. We all thank you. Following this, I realized what I needed before anything was the fighting features to be working, because everything within this game sat on top of the fighting features. So I got a little fighter model from the Unity Asset Store and began to work on the fighting gameplay for the rest of the night. Now, we ran into many issues, and this took a lot longer than I would have liked it to. But we were getting some really strange mesh bugs like this here. I couldn't even begin to explain what was going on. But that took a good amount of time away. Also, it took quite a while to figure out how to appropriately pair animations with functions, and because I was writing code so sloppily and quickly, anytime that I added something new, a new bug would show up and make itself at home for a good hour or two. A very frustrating process, but at the end of the night, we were able to get something stable enough at the very least, and that is exactly how we ended day one. It was finally time to pack up and get some sleep. After a full 7 hours of sleep, I got back to work. Now, side note, I've done a good number of 48-hour jams, and one thing I've learned is that sacrificing your sleep is not worth it. If you're not getting a full night's sleep during a jam, you've either came up with the wrong idea, or you're competing for some really great prizes. At least, that's how I see it these days. Anywho, to start day 2, because we had passable fighting features, we got to work on the tower defense gameplay, which was simply getting our units to go from one base to the other, and programming their behaviors once arrived and on the way there. Pretty straightforward. But then, we tried to merge the fighting features with the tower defense features, and that is when we realized that using 2 separate scenes for the 2 features like we were doing would have been a lot of extra work that we just didn't have time for. So, we annoyingly had to merge the 2 features onto one scene. And for those of you who are lost, simply put, we had to get all the variables in one location for easy access between the 2 game mechanics, and this took quite a while. Thanks to our quick and dirty code, many bugs moved in and made themselves at home after this change. Most of the day was spent trying to get them out, as well as writing new functions to make it all work. It was very grueling, but at last we got it to work. Up next was fixing the mistake made with the UI. I can't have a UI with clickable buttons if I wanted this to be 2 players, because that would mean that the mouse would either have to be shared, or I'd have to add online multiplayer, which, let's not even joke around about adding multiplayer to a 48-hour game jam. Oh dear. And yeah, we ended day 2 with getting all this set up, as well as the tower placing feature, and after a 12-hour stream, I got yet another good night's sleep. And finally, day 3. With only about 3 to 4 hours left in the game jam, we started the day with a bit of playtesting, and there sadly was bugs everywhere, but the show had to go on. We decided that the most important thing to start with was polish. We chose an impromptu space theme. This game was some strange alien space battle on some random asteroid, I guess. I don't know, it was good enough, whatever. We then fixed a couple of bugs, then got to work on the tower placing feature. We ran into even more bugs, and then time was up. We didn't get to finish the vision for this game, but we had to upload whatever we had, which unfortunately wasn't really much. And that was it. 48 hours of both headaches and fun times. Sure, we didn't exactly finish the game, but at least it was really fun to make. I really enjoyed hanging out with everyone on the streams, and I'm slowly learning what scope of game is possible for me within 48 hours. I mean, we burned so much time on reworking things that shouldn't have been reworked, taking care of bugs that we could have avoided, and working on features and assets that we ultimately didn't even use. All in which are notes I've documented for future jams. Keep it simple, stupid. But despite all this, I personally think the best thing to come from this jam was this announcement. I've actually began to rewrite this game from scratch with actual organized code, soon to be original assets, and extra shiny polish. Yes, you've guessed it. I'm going to release this game as a full title, which is so cool. And you know, oftentimes I forget that the whole purpose of why we even do these game jams in the first place is because they not only challenge us, but also give us an excuse to build a prototype that will hopefully become more, which is exactly what I'll be doing with this title in good time. So, Be on the lookout for updates soon. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed this week's episode. If you want to play this game, which I highly recommend that you wait for a beta build, or if you want to watch the full Ludum their live streams, both of those links are in the description. Please, I ask of thee to do a huge favor for me. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon to be notified when I put up a new video. And come follow me on Twitter and Instagram for like exclusive prototype builds and stuff. Actually, all the prototypes that I showed in this video were first posted on Twitter. If you did any of those favors for me, I thank you, because doing that stuff helps out a lot more than you probably know. Alright guys, other than that, I hope to see you all next week, but whatever the case may be, remember to always feed your curiosity. Exit the